I want to finish our conversation now, pivot away from the NCCN guidelines, talk about sort of what's new and evolving. A paper that Jonathan Letterman and I presented at the SGO is a paper called JAVELIN 100. I think all of you are aware that there's sort of three established ways to make checkpoint inhibitors better. One is to add it to chemotherapy, and JAVELIN 100 addresses that. I'm going to go next to you, Katie Moore. The second way is to add an anti-VEGF to a checkpoint inhibitor. And then the third way is to add a CTLA-4 or another checkpoint inhibitor. We don't have a lot of data on that, although the Energies Nivo versus Nivo-Ipi study was just published. So JAVELIN 100 presented at the SGO, quite frankly, was a study that to me was very disappointing because, as you know, we can add chemotherapy to checkpoint inhibitor in triple negative breast and lung cancer in lots of opportunities. And so we just decided to do it in ovarian cancer. I get it. It was a ready, shoot, aim approach rather than aiming before we took this, massive endeavor. But it was 998 patients, carboplatin paclitaxel, and then added avelumab to it. Either avelumab in the maintenance phase, because that's really kind of what we believe in, maintenance, or with chemotherapy and in maintenance. And the study was stopped by the Data Safety Monitoring Committee with the maintenance arm being, again, it's not it's not statistically tested, but the hazard ratio when you add checkpoint inhibitor and maintenance, avelumab, did not overlap 1, but it was on the wrong side. It was a hazard ratio of 1.43, with a 95% confidence interval of 1.05 and 1.95. So it suggested, didn't test the hypothesis, but suggested that maintenance checkpoint inhibitor was harmful after response to chemotherapy. So that was surprising. When it was added to chemotherapy and maintenance, the hazard ratio was 1.14. So we took a deep dive into the biomarkers, and some of the biomarkers were presented here, PD-L1 expression specifically, and there was no real signal. And PD-L1 expression measurements are complicated. You can either measure the immune cells or the tumor cells, and about a quarter of the immune cells were positive, about a quarter of the tumor cells were positive, and there was a lot of overlap in the immune cells and the tumor cells, and there was 9% that were negative. So it wasn't helpful. We're doing RNA-seq and other biomarkers. We'll have those for you probably at the IGCS, Tom, I think, where you're the program chair. Thank you. So that was disappointing.